Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to today's lecture of electrical fundamentals. Although I think we've had some issues, but from now onwards, please use your LMS as your standard course, as your standard course material and announcements section, and your class links are available there. So every week when you have to join the class, please use the links on LMS. If you have if you want to access your lecture recordings, I've also put up a link of YouTube where all my lectures are available. Please click that link and you will be directed to your lecture playlist for that particular course that you're attending. Then if you have any questions, please post your questions there. I have made an introductory session related to what you expect from the course and what you want to learn during this course, and there is an element of introductory part in that course. So if you, from now on, we will be following LMS as the standard, right? Because from 15th March, our new LMS is fully active. All right. Ji.
सर वो आप मैंने कल पूछा था सर मेरा एलएमएस नहीं लॉगिन हो रहा, पासवर्ड नहीं चेंज हो रहा सर। वो आज भी मैं दोबारा कर चुका हूँ, मुझे नहीं समझ रहा सर क्यों नहीं आ रही है, मैं एलएमएस नहीं लॉगिन हो रहा।
All right, I'll see to it. Please give me your ID.
ठीक है सर।
And I will see whether you're enrolled or not. Otherwise, please, if you're enrolled, you can check on your
सर
own.
मैं आपको मेल,
if you're not, don't send me a mail. Check if you're enrolled in the course. If you're not enrolled, send me your ID.
यस सर आई एम एनरोल्ड, क्योंकि वो मेरे कोर्सेज शो हो रहे थे।
Then please check with the IT people. They will guide you how to access your password. You can contact them for this purpose. All you can do is that if you are not enrolled in that course, you can email me about your details and I'll enroll you. But if you're enrolled and the course is not accessible or there is some other issue, then you can ask the IT department. All right. So up till now, we have discussed some basics of electrical fundamentals, starting from the basic structure of an atom, its constituent particles, meaning thereby electrons, protons, and neutrons. And then we discussed how those electrons and protons and neutrons were playing their roles in the conduction of electricity and the insulation of electricity, and how group 4 materials were acting as semiconductors. And then we saw that there were the conduction of electricity could be thought of as a subset of the states of matter, and where we saw that how much do solids conduct and what kind of solids conduct, how much do liquids conduct and what do we call those liquids that conduct, and how much do gases conduct. And then we explored what the reason was for those materials to conduct or to not conduct or to insulate, right? And then we said that what exactly is that quantity that we use to define charge. What defines charge? So charge is basically defined in coulombs, which is the unit of charge. And when the charge is static, we say that there's no electricity. But when the charge starts flowing, let's say through a conductor, we say that current is present there. So with current flowing through a wire, we need to define what current is. So current is basically the charge in coulombs flowing per unit time. So let's say coulombs per second is known as current. But then we said that there is a battery that supplies voltage, and there is a wire that carries current, and there is a resistor that also allows that current to pass through it. But with the same voltage, there is a lesser current with one resistor and a higher current with the other resistor. The reason was that with the same voltage, the value of the resistance could affect the value of the current flowing through the circuit. So effectively we define the three quantities as: number one, voltage is the energy or push that is supplied to the charges, the electrons, to flow through the wire. The current is the amount of that charge, those electrons that pass through a particular point on the wire in 1 unit of time. That 1 unit can be 1 minute, 1 second, 1 hour, or whatever you would, but it has to be 1 unit of time, right? And we said that then you had uh, resistance. So voltage is the energy that you supply to the particles to flow. Current is the amount of particles, is the amount of charge being flowing through that wire, because they are supplied with the energy to flow. And resistance is the opposition to the flow of charge. Resistance is basically the opposition that a particular material or a particular device gives to the flow of charge. So the higher the resistance, the lesser current would flow. And we said uh, that resistance is the reciprocal of conductance, which means that conductance is how much a device allows charge to flow. So resistance was 1 over conductance. And we said that resistance could be dependent on the dimensions of the device. For example, if you're talking about a resistor, a pure resistor, then we'd say that the length of the wire, the cross-sectional area of the wire, and the and rho, the material of the resistor, would determine the value of the resistance. And therefore, with the same voltage supply, a lesser amount of current was flowing when the resistance value was different. So here we ended last time. Up till this point, if you have any questions, हमने जो बात की है वो ये है, आपको लेक्चर्स अवेलेबल हैं यूट्यूब के ऊपर, वो एक लिंक अवेलेबल है, आप देखेंगे। आपको बजाय आप हर लेक्चर के अलग-अलग पासवर्ड्स एंटर करें और उसको एक्सेस करें, दिस टाइम आई एम क्रिएटिंग ए जनरल प्लेलिस्ट मीन्स कि आपको वहाँ पे यूट्यूब पे अवेलेबल होंगे। बट प्लीज़ मेक श्योर कि विद इन दिस मंथ जो प्रीवियस लिंक्स हैं सारे, जो पिछले सेमेस्टर्स के हैं, वो सारे रिमूव हो जाएंगे, चाहे वो पिछले सेमेस्टर के थे या उससे पिछले सेमेस्टर। आई विल रिमूव ऑल दोज लिंक्स। नाउ यूट्यूब विल बी द स्टैंडर्ड जिसके ऊपर आप अपने सारे लेक्चर्स एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? इससे मेरी स्पेस और जो ये जूम की स्पेस है ये खाली हो जाएगी। ऑलराइट, मेक सेंस? समझ आती है सबको बात? एनी क्वेश्चंस अप टिल दिस पॉइंट? हमने बात क्या की कि आपके पास एक करंट है जिसको हम कहते हैं कि कितना चार्ज फ्लो कर रहा है, कितना कूलम्स ऑफ चार्ज फ्लो करता है 1 यूनिट टाइम में। फिर हमने कहा कि आपके पास क्यों फ्लो करता है वो, क्योंकि उसको एनर्जी सप्लाई की गई होती है, उसको एक पुश दिया गया होता है, और वो पुश कौन सप्लाई कर रहा होता है? वो पुश आपको वोल्टेज सप्लाई कर रही होती है, ठीक है? और आपके पास उस पुश को रोकने के लिए, उसको कंट्रोल करने के लिए जो 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 डिवाइस की रेजिस्टेंस है वो उसको रोक रही है। अगर हम डिवाइस की रेजिस्टेंस की बात कर रहे हैं तो डिवाइस की एक कंडक्टेंस भी है, विच मीन्स कि जितना उसको रोका जा रहा है वो रेजिस्टेंस है, और जितना उसको फ्लो करने दिया जा रहा है वो उसकी कंडक्टेंस है। Alright, any questions up till this point? I don't see your cameras. I don't see your faces. Alright, good. So finally, I believed that there are humans on earth and I am teaching humans. Any questions up till this point? Yes. So what I want you to do is that I want you to take 30 seconds and think over it, all these concepts that we have studied, and then we'll move on to a totally new concept that we want to do this time. All right. So if you have any questions, take 30 seconds, think over it, and let me know. All right, let's move forward. Up till now, we have seen till now we have seen what current is, what voltage is, what resistance is, and how resistance affects current and voltage affects current and the different interrelationships of the variables. Okay, next, we want to see how electricity is generated. So you see, there's electricity that's generated at some power plant, at some hydroelectric power plant in Pakistan, and then it's supplied to our homes or to factories or to industries or to other places where there's need for electricity. But what exactly is the process through which electricity is produced? Now, today's Pakistan is facing a big challenge in terms of the electricity supply. We lack the basic balance between demand and supply. So in the coming days, it may become it may become a bit difficult to manage through the summers. But what exactly is the process? What exactly are the means through which we can generate electricity is a big question. Okay? So generally we do it by means of hydroelectric power in Pakistan. But there are other means like nuclear power, like thermal power, there are other means of producing it, like renewable energy, etc., etc. But we are going to see it on a smaller scale in this chapter, which means that we are going to talk about, let's say, circuits and how electricity is being produced in circuits, right? So the generation of electricity can be by any of these means listed. First of which is chemical action cell. This is by the use of two different metals placed in a liquid called an electrolyte. We call this a cell, and by grouping these cells, we produce a battery. So you see, a battery is a combination of two different metals with different reactivity, with different places in the electrochemical series. If you go back to your matriculation electrochemical series, you would remember that there was a reduction potential for every metal. Reduction potential, oxidation potential, and then when both of these reduction and oxidation reactions took place at the same time, we said that it was a redox reaction. But the point is to say that the tendency to lose or to gain electrons of any two similar metals, not similar, but any two dissimilar metals, is not the same. For example, calcium may not lose electrons with the same ease as, let's say, iron. For example, these are just examples, these are not exact facts. I'm just trying to explain what oxidation or reduction potential is, right? So some metals may lose electrons easily, whereas the other metals may not lose electrons as easily as the other metals, as the metals that could lose electrons easily. So the question is, my question is that let me show you the electrochemical series. If I can find. So if you look at this figure, it shows the electrochemical series, which means that you see on the left side is an orange arrow upward, and on the left side of that orange arrow it shows stronger oxidizing agent, which means that in the upward direction, the oxidizing ability of these materials increases, which means the ability to oxidize some other material, right? Which means to extract electrons out of some other material, right? Are you getting this point? But the point is to say that these potentials are different. If you see these values, these potentials are different. So for example, this lithium has a greater reduction potential, has a smaller reduction potential than aluminium, let's say. So if lithium and aluminium are in the same place, there is a greater chance that lithium would lose electrons, for example. Right? Make sense? Are you trying to understand what I am trying to say? So if in the same container there are two metals with different reduction potentials, the one which is more reactive would lose its electrons first, and the other one would not, because they are competing with each other. What I'm trying to say is कि आपके पास दो मेटल्स हैं, दो मेटल्स के अंदर आप एक मेटल ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव है, तो जो ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव होगा अगर उसको हम एक ही कंटेनर के अंदर रख दें तो ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव पहले रिएक्ट करेगा, वो रिएक्ट करेगा, दूसरा रिएक्ट नहीं करेगा। समझ आती है इस बात की सबको? इसमें कोई क्वेश्चन है? इसमें कोई क्वेश्चन? सो यू सी बैटरी के अंदर यही प्रिंसिपल यूज ऑलरेडी।
सर जो लेस रिएक्टिव मेटल होगा उसके साथ रिएक्ट करेगा मोर रिएक्टिव वाला?
ये मोर रिएक्टिव वाला रिएक्ट करेगा, वो पहले रिएक्ट करेगा क्योंकि वो ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव है ना। ठीक है, समझ आती है? Does that answer your question? All right. If it doesn't answer your question, please raise your hand again. If it does, please lower your hand. जी. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. I can't hear you.
So both have a different function. One is अगर दोनों का डिफरेंट फंक्शन हो, जैसे कि एक का ऑक्सीडाइजिंग कर रहा हो और दूसरा रिड्यूसिंग कर रहा हो, तो फिर सर कैसे रिएक्ट करेंगे सर दोनों?
Yes, exactly. That's the point. कि जब आपके पास एक रेडॉक्स रिएक्शन होता है तो उसके अंदर रिडक्शन और ऑक्सीडेशन दोनों हो रही होती है। तो जिसका रिडक्शन पोटेंशियल ज़्यादा होता है वो रिड्यूस कर देता है, और जिसका ऑक्सीडेशन पोटेंशियल ज़्यादा होता है वो ऑक्सीडाइज कर देता है। ऑब्वियसली जिसका रिडक्शन पोटेंशियल ज़्यादा होगा ऑक्सीडेशन पोटेंशियल कम होगा। सही है ना? इसलिए जो रेडॉक्स रिएक्शन होता है कि जब आपके पास एक मटेरियल अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स लूज करता है तो दूसरा गेन कर लेता है। राइट? समझ आ रही बात? इसीलिए तो जब आपके पास रेडॉक्स रिएक्शन हम कहते हैं तो ऑक्सीडेशन और रिडक्शन दोनों ही हो रही होती है। जो जिसका रिडक्शन पोटेंशियल ज़्यादा है वो रिड्यूस कर जाता है, जिसका ऑक्सीडेशन पोटेंशियल ज़्यादा है वो ऑक्सीडाइज हो जाता है। दोनों की पैरेलल एक्टिविटी हो रही होती है, ऑक्सीडेशन और रिडक्शन। ठीक है? राइट? So what I'm trying to say is that when a redox reaction takes place, there is reduction and oxidation taking place at the same time. Maybe not exactly at the same time, but overall it takes place at the same time. Right? And the material with the greater reduction potential reduces, and the other material is oxidized. You said you had two questions. Any other question? Mahad? I think it answers your question, right?
No sir, एक ही क्वेश्चन था.
All right, you had one question, so let's move forward. The point is not for now electrochemical series, right? The point is battery. So in a battery you have two different metals in an electrolyte, which means that when a reaction takes place in a battery, the two different metals actually react to produce electrons. So you see, in very simple terms, we will see how these batteries actually operate. In very simple terms, this is, let's say, an electrolyte. An electrolyte is a liquid that can conduct electricity. These are two electrodes, and this is, let's say, your bulb, right? So you want this battery to, initially I was showing this battery as this. So you see a battery is nothing but a structure like this, in which these two electrodes are dipping into this material. So one of this material oxidizes and the other is reduced. So effectively what happens, that one of them is losing electrons, and these electrons, let's say it oxidizes and it loses electrons. So what happens is that it has lost electrons, and the electrons travel through this bulb to this point to reduce this material. So what is happening is that this material is being oxidized and losing electrons. And this material, when these electrons go from here to here, this material is reduced. So these materials are being used up, but what we get is these electrons going through these bulbs. Right? Make sense? Does this make sense? That one material oxidizes, it loses electrons, and these electrons are what we make use of. We use it to generate to drive our lights, our bulbs, our fans, and other electronics and electrical hardware. Right? Make sense? Any questions? Any questions? ठीक है, वो कह रहा है कि आपके पास एक मटेरियल है जो ऑक्सीडाइज हो गया, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स लूज कर दे, वो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स बाहर तार में चले जाएंगे, बाहर तार के पास हमने एक बल्ब लगाया हुआ है, बल्ब के थ्रू इलेक्ट्रॉन्स गुजरेंगे, गुजर के वो उसके पास आ जाएंगे, आपके जो दूसरा मटेरियल है, दूसरे मटेरियल को रिड्यूस कर देंगे। ठीक होगी बात? तो ये क्या हो रहा है कि आपके पास मटेरियल्स यूज हो रहे हैं, लेकिन मटेरियल्स यूज होते होते आपके पास जो हम फायदा हो रहा है मटेरियल्स यूज करवाने का, वो क्या हो रहा है कि हमें वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मिल रही है। तो इसलिए आपने देखा होगा कि पहले जो बैटरीज आती थी, आपको ड्राई बैटरीज वगैरह भी आ गई, लेकिन पहले बैटरीज के अंदर क्या होता था कि आपके पास जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स थे वो ट्रेवल कर जाते थे और मटेरियल खत्म हो जाता था। जिस तरह ही मटेरियल खत्म होता था, आपकी बैटरी भी डेड हो रही थी। राइट? बैटरी क्यों डेड होती थी आपकी? तो जो उसके सेल्स थे, इलेक्ट्रोड्स थे, वो बिल्कुल ही, या इलेक्ट्रोलाइट कम हो जाता था तो आपको पानी ऐड करना पड़ता था, या फिर उसके इलेक्ट्रोड्स जो थे वो खत्म हो जाते एक पॉइंट के बाद, तो यू हैड टू रिप्लेस अ बैटरी। ठीक है, और आपको बड़े केयर के साथ करना पड़ता था। तो स्पेशली अगर आपकी लिक्विड बैटरी है जिसमें बड़ा हाई ये जो इलेक्ट्रोलाइट है, दिस इलेक्ट्रोलाइट इज कैन बी सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड, लेट्स से। So this is a very corrosive acid. It can burn away skin. It can burn away clothes. ठीक है, तो ये लोग आपने देखा होगा अक्सर बैटरीज वगैरह के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, स्पेशली लिक्विड बैटरीज के साथ इनके कपड़े अक्सर उसमें सुराख हो जाते हैं, तो वो एसिड होता है जो जला देता है उसको। ठीक है, इमेजिन व्हाट इट कैन डू टू स्किन। सो डोंट ट्राई प्लेइंग विद बैटरीज, लिक्विड बैटरीज एट होम। ठीक है, and definitely not at work, or use proper precautions. All right, any questions? For now we are just doing a peaceful discussion, not going into the practical part. So any questions? So the second part is the static electricity built by friction. So you see, or you often, I've often given this example earlier also, that when you rub your hair, that when you comb your hair, there is a charge built up in your hair, and there is a charge built up on the comb. So many of you might have done this experiment during your childhood, that you used to rub your hair, that you used to comb your hair, and then you used to bring that comb near to a paper to pick up that paper, and the paper was actually lifted up. At that time it was magic, but even at that time you studied science and you realized that it was not magic. It was basically static charge that was built up on the comb, and that comb's static charge was attracting the paper towards its side. It was polarizing the paper and attracting it towards its side. Yes. There's a lot of noise. I can't hear you.
सर मैं कह रहा हूँ, अगर हम कॉम्ब बालों में रब करके पानी के साथ ले जाए ना सर, तो वो पानी रिपेल होने लग जाता है टैप वाटर से।
So we have another scientist with a new discovery of static electricity, which is good. Thank you. But again, you see, there's the friction between the comb and the hair causes one material to lose electrons, and those electrons are gained by the other material. So there's a build-up of charge on both the materials, and when those both materials are charged, when they're taken to another material, they polarize that material, which means that the positive, that if it's positive, when this comb is, let's say, taken, when this comb is, let's say, taken, although this seems more like a beta, but let me make it like a comb. All right, this is a comb. So let's say you bring it close to a paper, there would be a force between these two. Let's say this is negatively charged. For example, I don't exactly remember whether it's positive or negative, but I'm just giving an example. What it would do is, let's say it is positively charged. What it would do is that it would attract electrons to its side. So the electrons are pulled from the paper towards the comb side. So then they're pulled, there's a force of attraction that develops between the two materials, and the paper is picked. All right. हम बात क्या कर रहे हैं कि आप बालों में कंघी से करते हैं बालों को, तो उस कंघी करने के बाद आप उसको पेपर के पास लेके जाएं तो पेपर अट्रैक्ट होना शुरू हो जाता है उससे। होता क्या है कि आप उस फ्रिक्शन जो बालों और उस कोम के दरमियान आई, वो फ्रिक्शन की वजह से आपके पास एक मटेरियल ने अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स लूज कर दिए, दूसरे ने गेन कर दिए। इससे हुआ क्या, आपके पास इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, स्टैटिक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट होगी। स्टैटिक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है जो मूव नहीं कर रही, चार्जेस हैं लेकिन मूव नहीं कर रहे, करंट नहीं है लेकिन इलेक्ट्रिसिटिकली चार्जेस हैं। तो वो जो फ्रिक्शन है उसकी वजह से चार्ज एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ट्रैवल किए हैं। वो जो एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जब ट्रैवल कर लिया है, तो उसको जब आप किसी और मटेरियल के पास लेके जाएंगे, लेट्स से वो पॉजिटिवली चार्ज था कंघी आपकी, तो वो जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स दूसरे मटेरियल के वो अपनी तरफ खींचेगा उसको, जब उसको अपनी तरफ खींचेगा तो वो उसको पिक करने में हेल्प करेगा। ठीक है, so there's another way through which electricity is generated, which is static, which is friction. Have you ever looked at big airliners? Not exactly big airliners, or the general aviation aircrafts, in which you have static wicks, like they're rod-like structures, not exactly rod-like, but they are stick-like structures close to the wing. Have you ever observed and have you ever seen them? Static on aircraft wing. How many of you have seen them? You often, I think, have you started going to the airport? Are you going to the airport nowadays? Let me show you. You see, these are static wicks. So when the aircraft is passing through the air, flying through the air, it's a very high speed. And often it happens that the friction between the air and the aircraft charges air up. There's a charge built up on the aircraft. So when there's a charge built up on the aircraft, and when it lands, and when an aircraft maintenance engineer approaches it, you see what would happen next. So for that purpose, there are static wicks installed on the aircraft's wing, which basically de-ionize the aircraft. What these basically do is that they release that static electricity built up on the metallic body of the aircraft. So often you would come across these static wicks. So you should understand what the purpose is. Okay, it's not a decoration piece. It has a purpose. राइट, तो विंग के ऊपर आप देखेंगे अक्सर स्टैटिक विक्स लगी होती हैं, जिनका काम ये होता है कि जब एयरक्राफ्ट हवा से गुजर रहा है तो उसको जब चार्ज अप कर देंगी हवा को, तो उस चार्ज अप होने की वजह से एयरक्राफ्ट की बॉडी पे भी चार्ज बिल्डअप हो जाएगा। जब वो बिल्डअप होगा तो उस बिल्डअप होने की वजह से उसको रिलीज करना है, अदरवाइज अगर वो ग्राउंड के ऊपर लैंड करके उसी तरीके से तो आपको चार्ज लग सकता है जिन्होंने मेंटेनेंस करनी है उसके बाद। तो वो उस चार्ज को रिलीज करने के लिए आपके स्टैटिक विक्स लगी होती हैं जो उस चार्ज को रिलीज कर देती हैं, हवा में रिलीज कर देती हैं। तो विंग के पास आप देखेंगे एक छोटी सी स्टिक्स टाइप लगी होंगी, वो डेकोरेशन के लिए नहीं है, देयर स्टैटिक विक्स टू डिस्चार्ज स्टैटिक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी। ऑलराइट, just give me one. The next is a piezoelectric crystal. So before earlier also I think I have explained this that when a voltage is applied to a piezoelectric crystal, it 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 deforms or it stretches or it compresses, which means that a piezoelectric crystal is any material which under the mechanical which under electrical voltage, electrical and which under electrical energy produces mechanical energy. So when a piezoelectric crystal is supplied with an electrical supply, electrical voltage, it deforms, it changes its shape. Similarly, when it's compressed or when it's stretched or when it's deformed, it produces an electricity. It produces an electrical signal. So it's vice versa, which means that when electrical voltage is supplied, it deforms, and when it or the otherwise when we deform it, an electrical voltage is produced. So this effect is called piezoelectric effect. That when we compress a material, a piezoelectric material, let's say quartz, etc., and other crystalline structures, when we compress them, an electrical signal is generated. This can also be used to generate electricity, and it is in fact used in circuits where there is a need for clock. We'll look into it. We'll look into the concept of clock later. But in digital circuits and other circuits where clock is needed, this piezoelectric effect is used. मैं कह ये रहा हूँ कि आपके पास ये वोल्टेज सप्लाई की जाती है ऐसे क्रिस्टल को, तो वो ये डिफॉर्म हो जाता है। सिमिलरली जब उसको डिफॉर्म करते हैं तो इलेक्ट्रिकल वोल्टेज प्रोड्यूस कर देता है। इलेक्ट्रिकल वोल्टेज होगी तो करंट भी होगा, अगर आप कंप्लीट पाथ प्रोवाइड कर देते हैं उसको। राइट, समझ आ रही सबको बात की? इसको कहते हैं पीजोइलेक्ट्रिक इफेक्ट। PD means potential difference. Any questions up to this point? जी जुरेज
सर इसकी समझ नहीं आई जो अभी समझाया है प्रेशर।
तो ये मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आपके पास एक पीजोइलेक्ट्रिक क्रिस्टल है जिसके ऊपर मैंने वोल्टेज सप्लाई कर दी, तो इसको होगा क्या कि इसकी शेप चेंज हो जाएगी, ये कुछ इस तरह का हो जाएगा। ठीक है, डिफॉर्म हो गया ना, शेप चेंज हो गई इसकी। तो क्या हुआ, इलेक्ट्रिकल को इसने मैकेनिकल एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट कर दिया। जो इलेक्ट्रिकल वोल्टेज हमें सप्लाई की थी वो इसकी मूवमेंट में कन्वर्ट हो गई, इसके स्ट्रक्चर में तब्दील हो गई। तो वो ये इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी को मैकेनिकल एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट कर दिया। सिमिलरली उल्टा इफेक्ट क्या है कि इस पीजोइलेक्ट्रिक क्रिस्टल को मैं कंप्रेस कर दूँ फोर्स लगा के। ठीक है, जब मैं इसको फोर्स लगा के कंप्रेस करूंगा और यहाँ पे मैंने लेट्स से 2 टर्मिनल्स लगाए हैं, तो यहाँ पे एक वोल्टेज प्रोड्यूस हो जाएगा। ठीक है, इस केस में क्या हो रहा है, मैकेनिकल इलेक्ट्रिकल में कन्वर्ट हो गया। क्लियर? तो इस तरीके से भी हम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को यूज कर सकते हैं, प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं और सर्किट्स बना सकते हैं। समझ आ रही बात की? सुरेश समझ आती है? ऑलराइट, थैंक यू। अच्छा, the next is photovoltaic cells. So we can, so you see आपके पास when people realize that there is a shortage of electricity in Pakistan, and when it was actually felt that there was more demand than the supply for electricity, so many of the people shifted to solar energy, which means that they had solar panels installed on the house roofs, and which could basically extract energy out of the sun, right? So Pakistan is a very lucky country in terms of the availability of sunlight. We have sunlight available for almost all year, and for almost 12 hours of the day at least. If not 12 hours, let's say 7 to 8 hours of the day, we have proper sunlight available for energy generation. So another another way by which we can generate electricity is that we can use sunlight to trap solar energy and the energy from the sun, and then that energy could be used to produce electricity. Okay, so most of the solar panels that you see on house roofs, on roadsides, etc., are basically using solar energy to are basically converting solar energy into electrical energy. Okay, the light from the sun, right? तो सोलर एनर्जी जो तीसरा, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आपके पास देखिए प्लांट्स किस तरह से सर्वाइव करते हैं। प्लांट्स आपके पास सर्वाइव क्यों करते हैं कि प्लांट्स के पास अल्लाह ताला ने एक नेचुरल मैकेनिज्म रखा हुआ है, वो सनलाइट को यूज कर लेते हैं अपनी एनर्जी के लिए। ठीक है, प्लांट्स को कभी प्लांट आपने देखा कि प्लांट्स को चिप्स खाते हुए? हैव यू एवर सीन प्लांट्स ईटिंग चिप्स? या प्लांट्स को आपने कभी शरबत पीते देखा? नहीं देखा ना। पानी पीते हैं, वो पानी हम सप्लाई करते हैं, लेकिन कभी आपने देखा कि प्लांट्स क्या कहते हैं, कभी किसी प्लांट को आपने देखा हो कि कोई चीज़ खा रहा है? Although there are plants that can, there are basic. It's not to say that the plants cannot eat. There are plants who can actually eat other creatures. But the point is to say that plants are not like animals. So what they do is that they use energy from the sun, solar energy from the sun. Similarly, ये जो solar panels हैं, ये उनकी एक नेचर देखें, हर चीज़ हमारी नेचर से इंस्पायर्ड है। तो हमने भी नेचर से इंस्पायर होकर प्लांट्स यूज करते हैं, हमें सोलर पैनल बना लिए जो सोलर एनर्जी को ट्रैप कर रहे थे। सूरज से जो एनर्जी आ रही होती है, उस एनर्जी को स्टोर करके हम उससे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस कर लेते हैं। और ये बड़ी अच्छी एनर्जी है क्योंकि इसके अंदर ना पोल्यूशन है, कि हमारा जिस तरह लाहौर आप देखें, लाहौर शहर के अंदर, लाहौर दुनिया के वर्स्ट कंट्रीज में से सिटीज़ में से, जिसमें आपके पास पोल्यूशन बहुत ज़्यादा हुई थी। ठीक है, तो कुछ हमें 2-3 महीना पहले, 2 महीने पहले हमारे नाम की बड़ी मशहूरी हुई थी दुनिया में कि हम बहुत पोल्यूटेड सिटीज़ में से हैं लाहौर। ठीक है, तो आप देखें इतनी व्हीकल्स हैं, इतनी और एक्टिविटी है लाहौर के अंदर कि वो इसी तरह पूरा पाकिस्तान हो जाएगा अगर हम रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी की तरफ नहीं आएंगे। तो हमें ऐसे, ये जो सोलर एनर्जी है, दिस इज़ अ वेरी गुड फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी, बिकॉज इसके अंदर ना कोई उस तरह से फ्यूल बर्न कर रहे हैं हम, ना कोई गाड़ियाँ बर्न कर रहे हैं, ना कोई हमें तो बड़ा क्या कहते हैं वो करना पड़ रहा है, हार्डवेयर यूज़ करना पड़ रहा है। सोलर पैनल्स के थ्रू हम सोलर एनर्जी को कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं इनटू इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी, और सूरज की एनर्जी यूज़ कर रहे हैं। तो हम इसको यूज़ करते चले जा सकते हैं जब तक कि सूरज ही ऑफ हो जाए। ठीक है, क्लियर, मेक सेंस, ये बात समझ आती है? एनी क्वेश्चंस? यस,
सर
वालेकुम सलाम।
सर मैंने ये पूछना था कि जो फोटो वोल्टिक सेल्स होते हैं सर, बेसिकली ये सर जो सोलर एनर्जी को कन्वर्ट कर रहे होते हैं इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी में, सर इनका बेसिक प्रिंसिपल क्या होता है? क्या सर ये सिर्फ
मटेरियल्स यूज हो रहे होते हैं इस तरह के जो सोलर एनर्जी को ट्रैप करके कन्वर्ट कर देते हैं। ठीक है, वो जो सोलर पैनल है उसमें मटेरियल ऐसा यूज किया गया होता है जो कि उस सोलर एनर्जी को, आपने कभी देखा है कि वो ब्लैक क्यों होता है? व्हाई इज इट नॉट वाइट? तो ब्लैक बॉडीज अब्जॉर्ब सोलर एनर्जी इन द बेस्ट वे। तो वो जो सोलर एनर्जी ट्रैप हो रही होती है, जो उसकी एब्जॉर्प्शन हो रही होती है, उस एब्जॉर्प्शन की वजह से वो एक उसका जो मटेरियल है उसको कन्वर्ट कर देता है इनटू अदर केमिकल एनर्जी, और केमिकल एनर्जी से फिर वो आगे इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट हो जाती है। खाली सोलर पैनल नहीं है, उसमें बैटरीज वगैरह भी लगाई होती हैं। ठीक है, so you see, material is an important factor, right? So let's move forward and move to the next topic, which is thermocouple. So again, I want you to think about the electrochemical series and look into this concept of thermocouple in that manner. At the point of contact between two different metals, there exists an electrical potential difference, which depends on the temperature of the junction. When we complete the circuit with a second junction at a different temperature, a current flows in the circuit. The thermoelectric effect is called the Seebeck effect after the man who discovered it, and the junction is called a thermocouple. Either the net EMF in the circuit or the resulting current may be used to measure temperature. So you see, what it says is that let's say we have this point. Let me exactly show you what a thermocouple is. And then we can so this is what a thermocouple looks like. So you see, uh, you see these are two different wires of two different materials. Let's say this is iron and this is copper. So which means that these two materials are different with different reduction and oxidation potentials. So there would be, when these two materials are attached, there would be an electrical voltage here, right? Because they have different potentials of reduction and oxidation. When they are heated, that potential will change. And when that change is according to the temperature, we can use it to measure temperature, right? When two materials are connected, there is a potential difference that exists. After temperature is supplied, the potential difference changes. That change in potential difference with temperature can be used to measure temperature. So that voltage can be calibrated in terms of temperature. राइट जब दो वायर्स हमने जोड़ दी साथ तो दोनों को आपको पता है कि डिफरेंट मटेरियल्स हैं तो डिफरेंट पोटेंशियल्स हैं उनके अगर डिफरेंट पोटेंशियल्स हैं तो उनके अंदर एक वोल्टेज पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस एग्जिस्ट करने का चांसेस हैं अगर आप उसको हीट करना स्टार्ट कर देंगे तो वो इस हीट की वजह से मजीद पोटेंशियल चेंज कर देगा अगर मजीद पोटेंशियल चेंज करता है तो पोटेंशियल जिस हिसाब से चेंज करता है उस चेंज को हम देख सकते हैं कि उस चेंज का आपके साथ जो टेम्परेचर का ताल्लुक है वो क्या ताल्लुक है तो दैट वे वी कैन मेजर टेम्परेचर समझ आ रही इस बात की clear up till this point? Any questions? Any questions? All right. The last cheese hai that is magnetism and the motion generator. This is something that we'll see in detail in chapter 10, and we will look into it how basically we generate electricity through generator, yes. All right. So what I want you to do is to tell me the difference between DC and AC current. What is the difference between direct and alternating current? And give me one example of both. Give me one example of both, of a DC and AC supply.
सर डीसी करंट में हमारी जो एम्पलीट्यूड है वो सेम रहती है, एसी करंट में वो अल्टरनेट होती रहती है, और जो हमारे घर में जो मेन लाइन से आ रही होती है वो अल्टरनेट करंट होती है, और जो हम मोबाइल्स वगैरह जिससे जो यूज करते हैं वो डीसी करंट से हम चार्ज करते हैं।
ठीक है, अब मुझे एक बात बताएं। ठीक है, मैं आपका बिल्कुल यू आर 90% राइट, बट 10% आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू। ठीक है, ये आपके पास टाइम है, ये आपके पास वोल्टेज आ रही है। ठीक है, अब ये कॉन्सेप्ट आपने याद रखना है फॉर लाइफ, डोंट फॉरगेट इट। दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल एज डीसी सप्लाई। ठीक है, दिस इज 0, दिस इज 5 वोल्ट्स लेट्स से। ये आपको पता वोल्टेज है, ये V मींस वोल्टेज इन वोल्ट्स, राइट? दिस इज 5 वोल्ट्स स्टैटिक लाइन। व्हाट वुड दिस बी कॉल्ड?
डीसी करंट।
डीसी करंट। ठीक है, डीसी वोल्टेज। ठीक है, I don't know why. Just give me a minute. I think the mouse is very close to me. What would you call this? What would you call this? Taha?
सर ये अल्टरनेटिंग है, सेकंड एज टाइम चेंज हो रहा है।
What would you call this? Sorry. This.
सर ये भी अल्टरनेटिंग है.
All right. Up till this point, I'm with you that this is DC direct current because there is no change in the voltage signal. It's a static signal. It's not the static signal, but it's a steady signal of 5 volts. Okay, this is voltage and time. I can agree with you that this is alternating signal, but I don't agree with you that this is alternating. What is this? Alternating or DC direct current? Think over it. Tell me.
सब फिर डायरेक्ट करंट होगा क्योंकि नेगेटिव साइकिल नहीं हो रही सर इसकी.
Exactly. You're right. This does not have a negative. This only has a positive side. Okay? So direct current is with single polarity, which means there are no two polarities in a direct current or direct voltage supply. So you see, this is just positive supply. This is just positive supply, but this is not totally positive supply. Okay? AC में you have alternating polarities. Alternating polarity, which means that there is positive and negative both. So you see, in this signal, in this voltage supply, although the signal is changing, but it does not change to the point where it becomes positive to negative, right?
Yes, sir.
Positive at no point does positive become negative. So this is called pulsating DC. So you see, it's changing its waveform, but it's not changing its waveform in a way that it changes its polarity. So it's called pulsating DC. So direct current or direct voltage supply is a voltage supply in which you have a single polarity, and alternating polarity current supply is a current supply, is a voltage supply in which you don't have an alternating polarities. Sorry, I think I've confused. In direct current, you have a single polarity. In alternating current, you have changing polarity. Okay, now what exactly does this changing polarity exactly mean? So you see, this is what we show as a battery DC supply. In this, let's say I'm connecting this bulb here. This is a bulb shown with a cross. This is the positive side. This is the negative side. And when this becomes positive, this becomes negative. Throughout, when the bulb is being operated, this positive will remain positive and this negative will remain negative. Right? On the other hand, an alternating supply will be shown like this through this signal, this sign. Okay? So for half of the cycle, this would be positive. For the other half of the cycle, this would be negative. So you see, let me draw it here. The bulb that is being supplied with electricity here, the first half of the cycle is positive and the other half of the cycle is negative, which means that for the other half of the cycle, this is negative and this is positive. So for the bulb that's being operated through the power supply, the half of the cycle is half of the cycle. The polarity is different from the other half of the cycle. Right? Make sense? Because you need to understand at this point that there is a fundamental difference between direct and alternating current, direct and alternating supply, because the terminal polarities change in alternating current or in alternating voltage supply, whereas in direct current or direct voltage supply, the polarities don't change. Right? Make sense? So I want you to think over it and let me know the example of a DC voltage supply. What is an example of a DC voltage supply? Since we have had a lot of lectures up to this point, tell me what a DC supply is. Tell me anything that supplies direct voltage. ठीक है, हम बात क्या कर रहे हैं कि आपके पास you have DC करंट है, आपके पास DC वोल्टेज सप्लाई है जिसमें आप बात कर रहे हैं कि आपके पास पोलैरिटी सेम रहती है. फिर आपके पास AC वोल्टेज सप्लाई है, ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट सप्लाई है जिसके अंदर आप बात कर रहे हैं कि आपके पास पोलैरिटीज चेंज कर देती है. इसका मतलब क्या है कि अगर एक बल्ब के क्रॉस हमने पावर सप्लाई लगाई हुई है तो DC के अंदर थ्रू आउट आपके पास टर्मिनल्स जो हैं बल्ब के वो सेम रहेगी. वो एक पॉजिटिव है, दूसरा नेगेटिव रहेगा. ठीक है, जबकि आपके पास एक ऑल्टरनेटिंग सप्लाई के अंदर जो सप्लाई हमारे घरों में आ रही है, जो स्विच हम जिसके जोर के ऊपर हम जिस स्विच से हम अपनी टीवी चलाते हैं या फ्रिज चलाते हैं या कोई और इक्विपमेंट चलाते हैं, दैट इज एसी सप्लाई। तो आप देखें वो 220 वोल्ट्स होना चाहिए, 220 वोल्ट्स एसी, उसको हम लिखते हैं 220 वोल्ट्स एसी, ठीक है। तो 220 सॉरी दिस इज 220 वोल्ट्स, 220 volts AC. Okay. Although this got mixed up, but you should understand that it's 220 volts AC supply, which means कि 220 volts की power supply आ रही होती है AC alternating current signal के अंदर। और वो क्या रहा होता है कि फ्रिज के अंदर या कोई इक्विपमेंट जब आपने लगाया होता है तो उसमें हाफ ऑफ द टाइम आपके पास जो टर्मिनल्स अक्रॉस जो एक डिवाइस लगी हुई है उस सप्लाई के अक्रॉस, उसमें हाफ साइकिल के अंदर आपके पास पॉजिटिव होंगे टर्मिनल्स और हाफ साइकिल के अंदर उसमें नेगेटिव हो जाएंगे। ठीक है, पोलैरिटी चेंज होना जरूरी है टर्मिनल्स की ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट, ठीक है। जरूरी नहीं है कि 50-50 ही हो, बस पोलैरिटी अगर चेंज हो रही है दैट मींस करंट जो आपका करंट जो है वो ऑल्टरनेटिंग हो गया। तो ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट इस तरह का भी हो सकता है, ठीक है, बस आपके पास ये पॉजिटिव से नेगेटिव में जाना चाहिए। दूसरी तरफ आपके पास जो ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट है वो और किस तरह से हो सकता है, स्क्वायर वेव भी हो सकती है, ठीक है, ये स्क्वायर वेव है। एंड यू विल सी दीज डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स ऑफ वेव्स इन लेबोरेटरी जो आप कर रहे हैं साथ, राइट। Now, I want you to think over it and give me one example of a DC supply and first give me one example of a DC supply. Any power source that gives you direct voltage supply or direct current.
Sir, a battery.
Exactly. Good. A battery source is a DC power source, as a direct current power source. All right. Now give me one example of an alternating power supply, except for the power supply that we receive at homes. What else do we, where else do we have AC power supply?
Sir, AC generator.
All right, that's clever on your part that the generator is anything that generates electricity and AC is something that is alternating current. All right, we'll see in details which devices operate on alternating current and which operate on direct current. But for now, I'm more concerned by Mohammed. Where's Hassan Butt, where's Mohyuddin, and where's Arkam and Ahmed Nabil? Are you here with us? I don't see you. Or where's Fakwani is? Sumer, you are not also here. All right. So what we are saying is that we have DC sources. So now you know that there is a direct current, there is an alternating current, and the direct current. For direct current, we have different sources. So batteries, thermocouples, and photocells, they are all DC sources. They supply DC current. And then you need to see that in batteries, there are two types of batteries. One is the primary cell, the other one is the secondary cell. So first we'll have a look at the primary cell. So you see this is a battery with a sulfuric acid electrolyte in this container, and this is a negative plate, this is a positive plate, and in between there is that particular bulb or resistor that we want to attach. Here is where we attach our resistor. Here is somewhere we attach our resistor. Yeah, hot bulb we attach here. Okay, right. So what happens is that again think of it in terms of an electrolytic reaction, that there's one metal plate which is more reactive than the other metal plate, right? So when one metal plate is more reactive, it would lose electrons, right? Generally metals lose electrons. Up till now we have seen in the periodic table that the general property of metals is that they lose electrons. When they lose electrons, the more reactive one would lose first. So let's say this is more reactive. For example, just for an example, let's say this is more reactive and it loses electrons. So when it loses electrons, let's say this is the one that loses electrons. So when it loses electrons, the electrons travel from the outward direction to this terminal, right? So the electrons travel from here to here, and you see that when it loses electrons, it oxidizes. And on the other hand, when it gains electrons, this material, this reduces. So a complete redox reaction takes place in this container. But what we make use of it is, what we do is that we make use of these electrons to drive our circuits. Okay, let's say we have a battery in a car, and it's a let's say it's a primary cell, and there are two electrodes, and those two electrons, one of them is a positive and the other one is a negative. There are two different metals which have different reduction potentials, and therefore it means that they have different reaction abilities. So the one with more reactivity would lose electrons, and the one with the lesser reactivity would gain electrons. But in between, when those electrons are traveling from one terminal to the other terminal, we make use of them, right? So humans are basically very mean kind of creatures. So we make use of those electrons and to drive our circuits. Okay. हम क्या कह रहे हैं कि आपके पास ये इलेक्ट्रोलाइट है. इलेक्ट्रोलाइट एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंडक्ट कर सकता है. ये एक आपके पास इलेक्ट्रोड है जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स लूज करेगा क्योंकि उसकी रिएक्टिविटी ज़्यादा है. दूसरा इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आपके पास इलेक्ट्रॉन्स गेन करेगा. तो जो लूज करेगा वो ऑक्सीडाइज हो जाएगा, जो गेन करेगा वो रिड्यूस हो जाएगा, और ये इलेक्ट्रॉन्स ट्रैवल करके आपके एक टर्मिनल से दूसरे टर्मिनल तक चले जाएंगे. लेकिन जब वो एक टर्मिनल से दूसरे टर्मिनल में जाएंगे तो रास्ते में हम अपनी डिवाइस लगा देंगे, बल्ब लगा देंगे, फैन लगा देंगे, अपने कोई और चीज़, अपनी कोई गाड़ी का इंजन कनेक्ट कर देंगे, या कोई हम जहाज़ का कोई APU कनेक्ट कर देंगे, या मतलब इस तरह की कोई और सर्किटरी कनेक्ट कर देंगे. तो हम उसकी जो मटेरियल्स की प्रॉपर्टीज़ हैं, उन मटेरियल्स की प्रॉपर्टीज़ को भी मैनिपुलेट करने से बाज नहीं आते. ठीक है. सो बेसिकली यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दैट we as humans, and especially as engineers and technologists, are making the best use of, we are manipulating materials and technology and available resources in the best manner. Any questions? So I want you to go through it once quickly. Through the primary cells are called so, as the chemical reaction used to produce the output voltage is extremely difficult or impossible to reverse. That is, they cannot be recharged. An example of this is the dry primary cell. A standard type of dry primary cell is the zinc carbon cell. These are constructed by having two poles, one of them being a carbon rod, which is the positive cathode, and the other being made of zinc, being the negative cathode. Connected to a steel disc at the bottom of the cell is to aid connection to a circuit. So you see, we are talking about this reaction in which one material is losing electrons and the other one is gaining. So during that time in which one material is losing electrons, the material, it's difficult to reverse that reaction. Once the electrons have been lost, the reaction cannot be reversed. So this is why we are calling it a primary cell, because we are not able to reroute that process. Another example of a primary cell is a dry cell, in which you have two materials, zinc and carbon. Carbon which is positive and zinc which is negative, and both of them are connected to a steel disc at the bottom of the cell to aid connection to a circuit. Right? In a dry cell, the zinc pole also acts as the container and surrounds the carbon rod, and also holds the electrolyte, which is constructed from ammonium chloride, ammoniac. With this basic arrangement, there is a very distinct disadvantage in that is the cell is being discharged in the chemical reaction that takes place with hydrogen bubbles which accumulate around the. I think we should take a look at it. First, let's take a look at this dry cell that is being explained, because the diagram is of a different. So these, so you see, just take a look, and this won't take you much time to understand. This is that small battery that we used to have in toys and in different other materials, etc., etc. So what we are saying is that there is an NH4Cl, an ammonium chloride paste in between, and on the outer side we have a zinc inner case. So zinc is also acting like a container, okay, but it is also the anode. Okay. Zinc is the cathode, is the anode, it's an electrode as well as the container. And this is a carbon cathode, which we are calling as graphite as carbon, which we are calling as cathode, right? And an electrochemical reaction takes place through which electrons are produced and electrons are released outside through this terminal, and then we make use of those electrons. Here is another example of how we make use of a dry cell battery, right? And you understand that that those electrons are produced because one of the materials is more reactive, is more able to reduce, is more able to generate electrons than to absorb electrons. And when it loses electrons, the electrons are passed out for the devices to be operated. Any questions up till this point? Any questions up till this point? So what I want you to do is that I want you to go through the rest of the this paragraph, and I will create a discussion activity on the advantages and disadvantages of dry cells. Right? Will you be able to do it? Will you be able to read through these lines and understand what the advantage or disadvantage of dry cell is? Any questions up to this point? हम क्या कह रहे हैं कि आपके पास दो सेल्स हैं और दो सेल्स दो मटेरियल्स हैं जिनमें एक जो है रिड्यूस होगा और दूसरा मटीरियल जो एक जो है वो ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव है, तो रिएक्टिव जो है वो अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स वो लूज़ कर सकता है इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल सीरीज़ के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट कि कौन सा मटेरियल है कौन सा लूज़ करेगा। और एक इलेक्ट्रोलाइट है जिसमें जो करंट कंडक्ट करता है, जब वो एक अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स लूज़ करता है तो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स दूसरे के पास आ जाते हैं। जब वो दूसरे के पास आते हैं तो हम उन इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को रास्ते में यूज़ कर लेते हैं अपनी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट करने के लिए। दिस इज़ हाउ बैटरीज आर ऑपरेटेड। तो जो छोटी बैटरीज आपको दिखाई जा रही हैं वो आपको समझ आनी चाहिए किस तरह से चल रही है। ठीक है, एनी क्वेश्चंस? अभी तक किसी को क्वेश्चन हो? Any questions up to this point? Okay, take 2 minutes, go through this paragraph and let me know if you have any questions. What it says is, with the basic arrangement, there is a very distinct disadvantage that as the cell is being discharged, the chemical reaction that takes place produces hydrogen bubbles which accumulate around the carbon rod and effectively insulate it from the electrolyte. So you see the electrons that are received at the, let's say this is the, let me redraw it. Here, that this is the carbon rod. So what happens is that when electrons are received here, there are H positive ions in the electrolyte. These H positive ions are attracted here because here electrons are being received. The electron is negatively charged and the H positive ion is positively charged. So the electrons are transferred to hydrogen atoms. So this becomes to hydrogen ions, this becomes a hydrogen atom and this becomes another hydrogen atom. These two bond and they produce hydrogen gas. So this hydrogen gas accumulates in the batteries. This is a problem here. This is a disadvantage of this dry cell. Okay. To overcome this reaction known as polarization, manganese dioxide is added to the electrolyte during construction. So what we do is that we add manganese dioxide during the construction of the cell. So you see it's not exactly a liquid, a simple liquid, it's an electrolyte. Another problem that occurs in a dry primary cell is that because the case is made of zinc, this has a tendency to corrode rapidly. This leads to the case leaking the electrolyte that it is holding. To prevent the electrolyte, the electrolyte is mixed with wheat flour so that it forms a thick paste, and hence dry cell. The EMF of dry cell is approximately 1.5 volts. You must understand that these dry cells are small batteries, small cells that we use in our daily lives to operate toys and other equipment. Another problem is that a metal has a tendency to corrode, right? When it's let's say losing electrons, it may react with the surrounding materials to get corroded away. Metals can corrode, so hence what we do is that we add wheat flour to prevent the corrosion of zinc. so that battery remains able to conduct. Right? Clear? Clear up to this point? ठीक है, हम क्या कह रहे हैं कि आपके पास दो डिसएडवांटेज हैं. एक डिसएडवांटेज क्या है कि जब जिंक ने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स लूज किए और कार्बन तक वो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स पहुंचे, तो कार्बन के ऊपर चूंकि इलेक्ट्रॉन्स पहुंचे हैं तो वो नेगेटिवली चार्ज है. तो हाइड्रोजन आयन जो उस इलेक्ट्रोलाइट में मौजूद थी वो कार्बन इलेक्ट्रोड के पास चले जाएंगे और वो उस इलेक्ट्रॉन को हासिल कर लेंगे. जब उस इलेक्ट्रॉन को हासिल कर लेंगी तो वो हाइड्रोजन आयन तो रही नहीं, वो तो हाइड्रोजन एटम बन गया. एक हाइड्रोजन एटम और दूसरा हाइड्रोजन एटम आपस में बॉन्ड करके हाइड्रोजन गैस बना देंगे. अब वो इस छोटे से सेल के अंदर आपके पास हाइड्रोजन गैस बिल्डअप होना शुरू होगी, तो वो अगर एक खास हद ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगी तो सेल फट ही जाएगी. ठीक है, तो इन ऑर्डर टू प्रिवेंट दैट सेल टू बर्स्ट फ्रॉम द बिल्डअप ऑफ हाइड्रोजन गैस, आप क्या करेंगे कि उसके अंदर एक आपने देखा कि मैंगनीज डाइऑक्साइड ऐड कर दी जाएगी. ठीक है, वो रिएक्शन को किस तरह से असिस्ट करेगी, वो केमिकल सारी रिएक्शन अवेलेबल हैं, ऑनलाइन अवेलेबल है, बाकी जगह भी अवेलेबल है. बट फॉर नाउ वी आर जस्ट कंसर्न फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ अ मेंटेनेंस इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट. दूसरी चीज़ क्या है कि आपके पास जिंक जब अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स लूज कर रहा है तो वो रिएक्ट कर सकता है. अगर वो रिएक्ट करेगा तो करोड कर सकता है. अगर करोजन हो जाती है तो वो तो फिर सेल हमारे काम का रहा ही नहीं. तो उस करोजन को प्रिवेंट करने के लिए हम व्हीट फ्लावर ऐड कर देंगे. तो इससे क्या होगा कि वो जो इलेक्ट्रोलाइट था वो दरअसल लिक्विड के तौर पे नहीं एग्जिस्ट करेगा, लिक्विड की बजाय वो एक पेस्ट की फॉर्म में एग्जिस्ट करेगा. इसलिए हम उसको क्या कह रहे हैं, ड्राई. वेट नहीं कह रहे, ड्राई कह रहे हैं. और इससे जो अप्रॉक्सीमेटली हमारे पास वोल्टेज आती है 1.5 वोल्ट्स. Alright, I'm going to end today till this point, and I want you to think over it and let me know if you have any questions, confusions. कोई questions, कोई confusions हो किसी को? Any questions, confusions up till this point? जी. Yes. So if you don't have any questions, please make sure that you go through the lectures that I'm uploading. In this week, in the next lecture, I will give you an assignment that you will have to submit in the coming week, right? And there are discussion forums on LMS. Please make sure that you are going through those discussion forums and you are posting your answers. Okay, that would count as your overall engagement and involvement in the course. In that way, I can see how much you are actually attending the course, right? And in the next class, we'll have an assignment. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.